Hey everyone, this is Real Good Stuff Production, and welcome back to Tutorial Video Part 3. If you haven't checked out Part 1 and 2 yet, you can find them on my channel or on my Patreon page. Some of my supporters told me they're honestly too lazy to read the written tutorials. Yeah, I see you. So I figured, why not make a video version to make things easier? Alright, let's get started. What is boob setting? It's a really handy plugin that gives your character's chest a much more realistic bounce effect. You see, the default bounce settings for the chest are kind of off, they just don't look natural. But with this plugin, you can totally change how the bounce behaves. You can adjust the frequency and make it feel way more lifelike. And here's the cool part. It doesn't just work on the chest, you can also use it for the character's butt to get similar bounce effects there too. You can play around with the settings yourself and find the values that work best for you. Make that bounce look extra nice and juicy. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to install this plugin. First, just head over to Google and search for HS2 boob setting. The first result that pops up, the one on GitHub, that's the one you want. Go ahead and click on it, and that's where you'll download the plugin. Once you've downloaded the file, go ahead and unzip it, and boom, there's your plugin. Alright, next you'll need to open up your Better Repack game folder. Then just drop the plugin into the right folder, and that's it. Your game will be able to load the plugin from there. If you're using the Better Repack version of the game, you'll notice there's an optional mods folder inside your game directory. That folder actually already includes the boob setting plugin, so you can also install it directly from there if you want. There are also a bunch of other really useful plugins in that folder too. Feel free to try installing some of them the same way and see what they do. But just a heads up, I recommend only installing the plugins you actually plan to use. Sometimes, if you have too many plugins installed, they can conflict with each other, which might cause issues in your game. And if that happens, figuring out which plugin is causing the problem can be a real pain. In the worst case, you might even have to reinstall the whole game. Alright, now let's go over some common questions I get from my patrons. One of the big ones is this. Why is my character's hair stretching, glitching, or flying off weirdly? This is actually a pretty easy fix. The issue usually comes from the colliders, and you can solve it by adjusting a couple of values. Just set the root collider's radius and height to 0. Once both values are set to 0, your character's hair should go back to normal. No more weird stretching or flying. Super simple. Alright, here's another one I get a lot. Why are there random symbols showing up on my character, like gears or little sailor icons? Yep, it looks weird, but the fix is super simple. Just head over to the left side toolbar and turn off the tool called Gimmick. That's it! Once it's off, the symbols are gone. Pretty easy, huh? Alright, let me show you how to boost your FPS. If you're not on a high-end PC, you've probably seen some lag or stuttering just like what's happening on my screen. Yeah, I feel you. My PC isn't great either. That's why I always try to make my scenes as lightweight as possible. I optimize everything to keep performance smooth so my patrons can enjoy the scenes without their FPS dropping. I also stick to basic mods to avoid extra lag, simple and stable. Alright, back to what I mentioned earlier, how can you actually improve your FPS in HS2 Studio? First, press F5 to open up this interface on the left side of the screen. Then, go to the Lights tab. Here's where you can start checking and turning off some of the lighting shadows in your scene. Shadows are usually the biggest reason that your FPS drops. They put a heavy load on your system. I recommend keeping shadows on for just one or two main lights and turning off the shadows for all the others. To turn off a light's shadow, look for the shadow setting. It'll say None, Hard, or Soft. Just switch it to None. That turns the shadow off completely. You can also disable any unnecessary lights in your scene. That'll help improve performance too. The idea is to adjust lighting and shadows in a way that keeps your scene looking good, without killing your frame rate. Now, aside from that method, there's another way to boost your FPS too. Just like before, press F5 to open the settings panel, but this time go all the way to the last tab, Settings. Here, you'll find a field called Pixel Light Count. Usually a value of 10 or higher gives you the best lighting quality, but if you lower it to something like 5, 3, or even 1, you can significantly improve your FPS. Again, the idea is to tweak it just enough to get better performance without ruining the overall look of your scene. If you've got more questions or if you're interested in my content, feel free to check out my Patreon. Every month, I create sexy, teasing, not safe for work animation scene data, along with high-quality 3D animation videos. I even make my own custom moaning SFX mods for HS2 Studio. I can honestly say my Patreon is one of the most cost-efficient places to get quality, spicy content. So if you like what I'm doing and want to support my work, I'd really appreciate it if you joined my Patreon. It means a lot, and I'll keep working hard to bring you even more hot content. All right, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.